Hi everybody, this is Eric and you're watching Eric Plays 8-String, and in today's video we're going to be doing part 2 of arranging a tune for 8-string guitar. So last week I posted a video just playing the bass line and the melody for the first 8 bars of All the Things You Are. And today we're going to add some inner voices and start to flesh out the harmony a little bit. So really fast, I'm just going to play the melody and the bass line together for those first 8 bars, and if you haven't seen last week's video, go back and watch that first because I go into a lot more detail. I'm just going to play through real fast. So. Okay, first 8 bars. Now let's add some chords. So the first voicing we're going to talk about is kind of a low register 7th chord voicing, and these are really similar to some of the shell voicings that we talked about in some of the earlier videos. So again, if you're not familiar with the way that I'm voicing some of these shell voicings on 8-string, go back and watch that video. It's on my channel, and I hope that you don't have any questions. If you do, leave a comment. That's what we do. Now, one of the cool things about All the Things You Are is that the melody generally plays on one of the chord tones. So by having the melody on the top voice, the soprano voice of whatever chord we're playing, we're automatically covering that note. So this is kind of a cool one. Here's F minor 7. This is the first one. Here the melody's on top. Okay, B flat minor 7. Okay, melody comes back, and then E flat 7. A flat major 7. Now, this one's kind of cool, this A flat major 7, because the two melody notes are the major 7th and the 3rd, right? The major 3rd. So rather than voicing them together, I'm just spreading them out. I'm arpeggiating them. Okay, and then D flat major 7. This is kind of a fun one. A little dark, but I think it's really beautiful. And then we go to G7. Just like A flat major 7, the 7th and the 3rd are the melody notes, so we don't really have to worry about doubling those notes an octave lower. I'll just arpeggiate them and play them separately and still get a good idea of what that chord voicing is supposed to sound like. And then finally, C major 7. So again, root, 7th, 3rd, simple little 7th chord shell voicing. A little closer to tempo now. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So those deep, dark voicings are all well and good, but what happens if we want to keep the melody in the same octave, but add those same chord voicings maybe an octave higher to give it a little bit more lift, a little bit more space? Well, we can try something like this. And all we're doing is we're taking either the 7th or the 3rd of each of those chords and moving it up the octave. Okay, so that's all well and good, but our melody is no longer in the soprano voice, right? So what happens if we want to have something kind of floating above it but not interfering with the melody, right? We want to make sure that the melody is really clear. Well, we can always arpeggiate through these little patterns, right? So here's our first one, right? The melody is not da, 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 da. It's pretty voice leading, but it's not the melody of the tune. So what happens if we combine the root and the melody note and then add that 7th or 3rd up the octave afterward as like an arpeggio? We can put some rhythm to this. Interesting, right? So syncopating those notes a little bit gives us the illusion that the melody is just kind of cruising along, and then we have this upper voice that's kind of weaving in and out. And I think that gives it a really nice effect, and it breaks up the monotony of having these really deep chord voicings all the time. So again, these are arranging decisions that we can make. So what happens if we just lead off with the bass note and the melody, and then So that's another option that we have, another kind of tool that we have in our arranger's toolkit for kind of addressing these tunes in different ways. So what I would suggest is maybe play that first 8, just the melody and the bass note, and then add the inner voice below, and then try the inner voice above, so it becomes the soprano voice, and then arpeggiating it, and come up with your own patterns, and see if you can find something that feels good to you and kind of resonates. All right, so next week we're going to talk a little bit more about voice motion and voice leading inside the chords, playing some extensions and making the harmony a little bit more dynamic, moving a little bit more. I touched on that a little bit down here on this last chord, right? We have that C major 7. I just take the 7th down to the 6th. And that can be a really nice little move, but we're going to do some more stuff like that, of moving around the inner voices, or in some cases upper voices, to add some complexity, yet another layer that we're putting on top of this thing, which is always fun. So until next week, as always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. And if you want to be notified when I post new videos, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Yay! All right. Have a great week, everybody. Happy practicing, and let me know how it goes for you. All right. Take care. Bye.